Hello, everyone, and many thanks for joining today's stream. Big community, a traditional Sunday big community chatter, fundraising stream, and same time I have prepared a news segment for you, and of course I will share news also. News on some major developments that Russian media is focused for this moment. Although, dear friends, unlike previous community chat streams. This time around, I want to start with the actual conversation with you, with the community chat, and time to time I will just go through some news. Probably this will make our live stream more interactive, and hopefully you will like it this way better. So that's been said because this is a also a fundraising attempt of mine to do fundraising also. And if you want to support her, you can of course donate during the stream or any other time really through PayPal platform. You can see a link under this video in description box. Also, Boosty platform can be used for this purpose. You can donate or subscribe to my page on Boosty and choose your level of support. There is also a Patreon platform, by the way, that I have page. You can subscribe to my Patreon page. Unfortunately, this week, due to certain circumstances that I would not go into details now, maybe next week I will tell you what was going on. It was a hard week, man. I can tell you that. So I was unable to do some extra content on Patreon, but usually I do have at least two free extra exclusive content on my Patreon and Boosty pages. Also, as my thank to members of community that are supporting with these monthly subscriptions on Patreon and Boosty. So it is a great support, of course. A big deal, by the way, saves this project for sure, together with other support. And also during the stream itself, dear friends, you can use super chat or round feature on Rumble and donate to this project, and same time highlight any question that you might have. Right now, I will drop link to my Rumble channel in a chat, in a YouTube chat, in case you are interested to watch this video either on the Rumble, this live stream, either on the Rumble, or if you want to donate. So link is there. I can see, and there's and somewhere in the middle of the stream, I will also drop link if I didn't forget. So okay, that's the idea. That let's have a community chat, and time to time some news also. And let me start with the one news. Let me start with the one news for now, and then I will go through questions. I can see Nikos has a questions there, commentary, and I will start from there. The news itself is that, well, according to TASS news agency and many other media outlets here in Russia, Defense Ministry today reported that Russian armed forces liberated Kucherovka settlement and Rivne settlement. Kucherovka settlement is in southern eastern flank of Kupiansk, I believe, and Rovno settlement is in between Pokrovsk city and Mirnograd in a DPR. I can show you on the map, dear friends, locations. So this is, of course, Pokrovsk Mirnograd agglomeration that you see right now on your screen. Let me make it bigger. So this is Pokrovsk Mirnograd agglomeration, of course, and Pokrovsk is under full Russian control, and their clearing operation was underway in a village of Rovno in between two cities, Pokrovsk and Mirnograd, and their clearing operation was finalized. And I can assume after finishing clearing operation in Rovno settlement, Russian troops already moved into the city of Mirnograd, main body of the city of Mirnograd on the northern side, and probably at this point, clearing operation is in Svetlaya district of this city, or Svetlaya village. Maybe some are counting Svetlaya as a separate village, although it's a part of city itself, as you can see. That's the one settlement that was liberated by Russian forces, and Defense Ministry confirmed that. And when it comes to Kharkov region and Kucherovo settlement. This is the one. Kucherovka settlement on the eastern side of Kupiansk city. And earlier I reported that even though Kupiansk itself is under Russian control, on the left bank of Oskol River, significant number of Kiev regime's troops are trapped, and the Russian forces conducting clearing operation. And as a result, Kiev regime's forces were holding to Kucherovka settlement, and they do it no longer. Settlement is under full Russian control now. That's been said, dear friends. Let me, in addition, give you this reporter from TASS News Agency also, which is based on Defense Ministry's update that last night 77 drones were neutralized by Russian air defense systems launched by Kiev regime with assistance of NATO. From these 77 drones, 42 drones were intercepted in the Saratov region. Saratov region was the main direction of this attack. 12 drones over the Rostov region, 10 over Republic of Crimea, 9 over the Volgograd region, 2 over the Belgorod region, and 1 each over the Astrakhan region and the Chechen Republic. That's the report, by the way. And as you can see right now in your screen, I do have quite a number of news prepared for a news segment. But now let's have a chat first. And let me make like that so comments will be visible on a screen in case you are watching on a TV. And then in that case, you can read all the comments on your screen if you want to. And let's have a chat, dear friends. So I can see Nikoskin is commenting, and let me read it. Three-part commentary from Nikos, and he is writing. I watched Putin's trip to India, and I got to say the Indian coverage of it was arrogant and dismissive, saying that Russia is a diminishing power that came to beg for help to us. And if I may, I will comment on each segment of Nikos's comment. First part, well, what can I say? India is massive, isn't it? India is massive country, most populated country in this world. There are hundreds, thousands of different media outlets, and many media outlets are extremely pro-Western, let's say, or extremely influenced by the Western different funds, Western ruling class, basically, through whatever means they have to infiltrate Indian society, Indian public field, right? And I can see some media outlets in India being very critical of Russia, even anti-Russian in some ways, and very much pro-Western. But I don't think this will account for overall Indian take on this past trip that Russian president conducted in India on 5th of December. But I also monitor some Indian media outlets, especially ones that have channels on YouTube. And First Post, for example, is a bigger channel on internet from Indian media outlet. And I've seen several reports on First Post. This media outlet is definitely not pro-Russian, right? Definitely not pro-Russian, by the way. They are even, I will say, anti-Russian in many ways. But nevertheless, in past several days and even before, every now and then, even First Post is coming up with objective reporting, and quite a positive coverage of Russia-Indian relationships, right? And this is, yet again, by the way, First Post, in my personal opinion, is definitely not pro-Russian, right? So therefore, you see, Nikos, you watch Saturn or read Saturn media outlets. Probably I watched some others, and that's why I think we cannot say that India was arrogant towards Russian delegation or dismissive. Some personalities in Indian political class could be, yes, but generally speaking, Moscow and New Delhi are allies. And it is in best interest of both to maintain good relationships, really. And if anyone in India thinks that Russia is begging for help, then I don't think those people deserve to be in a public field. As simple as that. They are just rupers of or propagandists or the tools in hands of Western ruling class. That's all, right? Anyone in Indian public field that says that Russia is begging India for anything is just an enemy of India. That's all, because in these relationships between Russia and India, these relationships are based on mutual. I want to believe these relationships are based on mutual interest, mutual benefit, and their mutual respect. And that's it. I would not say Russia can deal without India. No, Russia wants to have a good relationships in India, right? Yes, if Indian leadership one day will destroy completely relationships with Russia, okay, Russia can deal with it. Russia can live with that, right? But we don't want to see anything like that is happening. And I think a vast majority of community here in Russia would agree with me that we can live without have a good cooperation with India, but it would be better if we have good cooperation, right? And if and that's why I'm saying, by the way, if anyone in India is pushing for anti-Russian stance and pushing India towards distancing itself from Russia, then well, they are enemies of India, man. As simple as that, right? Also, Nikos continues to comment. Nidish Kumar, if for new members of community, I will say that Nidish Kumar is a member of our community, of course. Nidish from India. So Nidish Kumar can correct me, but for me, this attitude is the reason why India is not a superpower yet, and China is a better partner for Russia. Population does not make you powerful. Cohesion does. Nikos is commenting, and he continues, India does not get to sit and don't pick a side. They need to acknowledge their societal problems and ask help from nations that are reliable. Well, yet again, Nikos, you know, we are for good relationships with India, and I think Indian people, majority, and the Indian political class, mostly, at least ruling party there, is also for good relationships with Russia. But yet again, if New Delhi changes the stance tomorrow and chooses to be more closer to evil force that Western ruling class is, then it's their choice, right? And they will bear consequences for their own policies. It's not going to be anybody's fault, but all their success and failures going to be India's successes and failures and aftermath of Indian policies. That's it. But generally speaking, I don't think this visit was treated in India as something of loosely important. I saw some coverage, by the way. I saw videos and I read reports how Russian delegation was treated. It was done on a high level. Everything was done on a high level, by the way. So I don't know why you get this impression that India was dismissive or arrogant. No, I might be wrong. Maybe my reading of the big picture is wrong. Could be case, man. After all, I'm only a human, isn't it? And sometimes I'm correct in my reading of the big picture, and sometimes not. That's it. Let's go through chat, dear friends. DP, Dr. Peterker is commenting. Opera in 19th century was criticized as topsy-turvy. UK military should be helping our proxy, not an enemy. Quote today's Sunday Times, China systematically using UK research to gain military edge. I'm not sure I did understand the stuff, but I guess Daily Mail reported that certain British research or British studies being used by China. Okay, I mean Chinese are very good, by the way, in adapting to new realities, to adapting basically. They are showing great agility for sure, and they are not shying away to adapt also knowledge and the technologies of others if they find it reliable. And that's just the objective reality. I think in China there is nothing wrong if you are taking something that was engineered or done by other people, even if those others spend their great volume of money and time and research to reach that level of knowledge and technology. Chinese just take it and adapt it, right? So they don't see nothing wrong with that. China is operating with quite a number of planes that look like Russian planes because they are basically copycats of Russian planes. They are adapting military and civilian technologies from other countries also. And the same can be said, I guess, about some scientific studies. They are quite good at it, quite effective at it. And you know what? I wouldn't be against if Russia will adapt also whatever advanced technologies we can get our hands on, right? For example, we know that Germany is a leading country right now, technology-wise, to build mirrors for machines that are printing those chips, right? Germany is a leading country in the mirror business, and it's not ordinary mirrors, by the way, we all understand that. And Dutch, Netherlands, by the way, you might be surprised, but Netherlands are leading countries that produces these huge machines that cost hundreds of millions of dollars, by the way, each, right? Huge machines that are using these German mirrors and many other stuff, but these mirrors play a crucial role there to print this latest generation of chips, right? Microchips. And I would not be against, absolutely, if Russian intelligence services will get their hands on all the scientific research, all the technological paperwork of a German company that creates those mirrors and the Dutch company that creates those machines, right, to print the chips. And then if Russia will adopt all this technology here in Russia, so we will start printing leading, edge chips here, right? And while adopting this new technology, obviously, entire school has to be built of engineers that will work on the matter, right, and study the matter, and that will give us a straight path towards continuation of the progress. So I don't think we should shy away to do this kind of stuff, man. Why not? Let's do it, man. These Western countries that are rich and, or used to be at least, very rich and powerful, they stole everything, almost everything from the rest of the world, right? And I don't think they have any moral right to say, you know what, you are stealing from our technology. You really? You still taking everything from everybody. So shut the fuck up. That's it, right? And maybe Chinese leadership is thinking, after Opium War, who the hell is UK, for example, or the Western world to say anything to us, right? And after many, many other atrocities that was committed by Western countries in Indo-Pacific in general. And we're talking about genocide on top of genocide on top of genocide. That's the trace of the Western world all over this planet, really, isn't it? I can see Vadim Sigida is commenting. I finally agree with you, Nikos. You improved over time. Well, you see, Vlad, I disagree with Nikos and with you, apparently, on the topic of India. If you mean exactly that, if you mean Nikos' stand on India's treatment of Russian delegation or Russian visit, visit of Russian leadership. I think her visit itself was done on a high level, very respectful. Relationships between Prime Minister of India and Russian President Modi and Putin is very good, really. When it comes to this recent trip of Russian president, only disappointment I have right now is a lack of reports about contracts that maybe or maybe not was signed during this trip. My expectation was that we will see some big deals being announced between the sides, but it's like 2 days pass already, and you see there are no reports that some concrete agreements were reached. Maybe because, yet again, maybe because both sides decided not to make it public yet. Could be case, really. Or maybe something else is happening. Hard to tell. Hard to tell, but that's what I am paying attention to, really. So I remind you, dear friends, that this is a big community chat, traditional Sunday community chat, and the fundraising task is to raise around $200, not million or 2 million, just $200 for next week, so that my mind will have a little peace, right, while being focused on this work. Because unfortunately, work days quite often, like yesterday or day before yesterday, for that matter, but there is quite often there is not a single donation to this project, and as you can understand, this is a full-time work, by the way, that I am doing. If you try, you will, you might not believe me that it takes a lot of time to work on this field, but it does, right? And if you will try it, you will realize that this is a freaking full-time work with a regular day-on-day base over time, because you are always at the work. It seems like, truly. To me, it feels like I'm always at work, by the way. I have always this notebook open, and I'm always reading or listening to some freaking news. Sometimes I do take Saturdays off, exactly to, let's chill a little bit, right? So it's a fundraising stream. If you want to support dear friends, donator, you can do it through PayPal, Boosty platforms. Links are on this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. Of course, there is also Patreon page, right? And during the stream itself, you can use Rumble platform to donate through round feature. Through round feature, right now there is only 16 people watching online on Rumble, which is I would like to see more people there, of course, and I will drop in the chat again a link to my Rumble channel in case you are interested there. So yes, I dropped a link so you can see it, and at least watch my live stream on Rumble. By the way, that could be also helpful. I'm scrolling now, dear friends. You can use capital letters if you want to discuss any topic. Just use capital letters so that I will know. I will know that this particular comment is directed to me. Michael Kennedy is commenting, UK military should be defending English channel. British military should be focused on defending UK. British military obviously should be focused on United Kingdom and its protection, but because British political class, aristocracy, financial elites, because they are globalists, by the way, they are focused on anything but UK and best interests of the United Kingdom, peoples of the United Kingdom. And this is true, isn't it? This is true. And even, when it comes to UK, by the way, at this time, only reason why anyone will take British military seriously is nuclear weapons, presence of the nuclear capabilities in hands of London. Otherwise, British military is a joke. Let's be real here. British military is a joke, man. British Navy is a joke. British ground forces is a freaking joke. British Air Force is a joke. It's nothing, right? Only reason why London is being at least time to time listened is because they have nuclear weapons, nuclear capabilities. And same can be said about France, by the way. UK and France, they are not military powers, they are not economical powers, they are not powers whatsoever. They still use their proxies, right? Because these are two former big, massive empires, by the way. They still have their influence in different parts of the world with their true Saturn institutions that they created, right? But time is running out for them. Time is running out for them. And hopefully soon we will have alternative financial and banking system for this world. And after that, well, London and Paris can rest in peace from geopolitical stage, for sure. And I can see Michael can Vadim is responding to Michael Kennedy's commenter. How about stop terrorism first? Yet again, I mean, they can British elites, they then cannot stop terrorism. And also, there is a comment from Vadim: how many more tankers you gonna blow up? I understand this. I myself pointing out that these attacks on tankers and all this terrorist activity, most of the terrorist activity of Q regime is done by British intelligence services, orchestrated, organized by British intelligence services. And for plausible deniability, they are using Q regime. We all understand this. And it's a big question, isn't it, Vadim? When British leadership will stop rely on terrorism? Never. Answer is never. They're not going to stop. Unfortunately, because they're being cornered now, they cornered themselves, isn't it? While launching this proxy war against Russia, globalists, Western ruling class, and one of the main forces there, British aristocracy and leadership, cornered itself, right? They are losing this proxy war. They are literally day in, day out, getting more and more frustrated, more and more desperate. And out of this desperation, they are increasing terrorist activity. I predicted this, isn't it? I predicted more. That's exactly what will happen. And that's exactly what is happening. Right? Terror campaigns are historical. I mean, you trace back history of UK, you will see London was always rely on a terror. It's part of their policies, by the way. They are relying on terror more than on their militaries. That's what UK is, man. Some people maybe don't realizing this, but that's what tradition is in of English and British leadership. Terrorize everybody, right? This is one of the main ways they do their dirty job, right? So they would not stop. They would not stop, and I see no even theoretical probability that British people will one day manage to reclaim their own country and will put some adequate people in power so that UK will behave adequately on a world scale. It's not happening, right? And this terror campaign from UK will only stop when UK itself will enter dark places, when dark place from where London will just have no opportunities to bother others in the way they do right now. They are not yet in that dark place, but they are getting closer and closer. And same can be said about all the other European countries, by the way. Right? They are on a trajectory towards that dark place. I'm saying for a reason that Europe is doomed, man. Give it to 20, 30 years, and Europe gonna be no any more relevant on geopolitical scale than Antarctica is. And Antarctica is a zero. Antarctica plays zero points in geopolitics, right? Penguins are not there yet. So that's what I think. Greetings, dear friends. Greetings to you all, and thank you for your attention. Hopefully, more people will join our stream. It's 114 people right now on YouTube and 23 on Rumble. Hopefully, more people will join. I can see another question from Nikos. I don't know if you saw Mr. Kalin's interview with Hadley Gumbel, aka the reporter Russian media labeled as a sex object in 2021. From what I've seen from her, she's a racist when it comes to Russia. I saw a little fragment with a statement of Kalin. I did not saw entire interview, Nikos, and I don't really have strong opinions about the so-called journalists from the British MSM. Whenever Kalin does interviews, I feel sorry for him. And he is ambassador of Russia in UK, and he have to, right? This comes with the territory. This is his job. He have to try at least to inform British, in this particular case, British public what Russian position is, where Russia stands. It's a hard job, by the way, because everything Russian ambassador or Russian embassy says is counterattacked from British propaganda with all sorts of false narratives, right? And also, humanly speaking, it is difficult to talk to morons, right? When all of us were at some point in a situation or situations even when you clearly realizing that you are talking to some freaking moron, and no matter how hard you try with arguments, facts, and everything to explain something to this person, you are failing because it's a opposite of you stands freaking moron that knows nothing about nothing, right? Total moron, and that's the impression that I get whenever I watch interviews that Kaling, for example, in this particular case, gives to British MSM. Opposite of him are freaking morons, by the way. And I'm saying this not just because these so-called British journalists are pushing certain false narratives, propaganda, right? But I'm saying this because even when someone is pushing propaganda, by the way, if that someone is educated enough, informed enough, this work of propagandists can be done in a way that it would not be insult to intellect of the whomever they are talking, right? But in case of Kalim, by the way, I'm telling you, man, there was no instance from many interviews that I see when whoever was interviewing him was from I don't know, BBC, ITV, Channel 4, or any other. I never had the impression that those people from this so-called media in UK were intellectuals, right? That's why I feel sorry for Kalin that he has to talk to these freaking morons, man. Stupid. I'm totally stupid, uneducated elements, right? It's fucked up, man, right? So that's about my take on the matter. And when it comes to this particular person that you mentioned, Hadley Gumbel, being racist towards Russia, well, in the Western world where the racist is used in ways that I don't really understand, Brits and us, majority of Brits and us here in Russia are Indo-Europeans. We are one race. Most of us are one race, by the way. Of course, there are other race people also, in UK and in Russia too, by the way. Russian, I can go into details if you want to, but Russian Asians, for example, Buryats, Yakuts, they are not Indo-Europeans, right? But when it comes to UK and Russia, most of us are Indo-Europeans, different ethnicities, but Indo-Europeans, right? We are one race, and therefore, I don't think terminology, I mean, term racist is the right one to use when UK demonstrates some Russia hate. It's a xenophobia. It's a Russia hate. It's a xenophobia, right? Russophobia. But I don't think it's actually racist. Are there Russophobes or Russophobes or the xenophobes? Oh, they are, man. Are there racists also in terms to attitude towards other races? They are, obviously, right? They are, by the way. In US, in the Western world, basically, racist is still a thing when some representatives, not all, but some representatives of Indo-European race that they call white race, which is not exists. There is no such a thing as a white race, right? Some Indo-Europeans in the West do hate all the others. They hate Mongoloids, they hate Negroids, they hate everybody, but everyone that looks not as them, they hate. Because some of them probably think they are like better. These are freaking morons, by the way, right? Do we have to talk about these nobodies that hate other people just because they have like different, I don't know, race background or different color of the skin or something? They are freaking morons, man. So they don't deserve really that much attention. But British ruling class cannot be racist towards Russia because we are one race. Most of us I'm talking about. So they are Russophobes. That's a more correct terminology, I guess, that they are xenophobes. In general, towards in regards to Russia, they are Russophobes, Russia haters. Yes, that's correct. If I understood your take correctly. Oh, Nikos continues. While that interview went well for Mr. Kalin, his response to Novichok accusations was awful. Why can't he provide some evidence? Levan, as a journalist, why is Russia so bad in media optics? Well, because no one cares, man. Because no one cares. You think my project should be on survival scale after 3 years that I'm doing this work, and I have like 7 million plus views for a small channel. Not really bad result for a channel that is in freaking shadow ban, right? Strict shadow ban. I still have 7 million views, right? So tens of thousands of people, potentially hundreds of thousands of people, potentially are better understanding Russia now, right? Maybe did not start sympathizing Russia, but at least they do understand a little bit better we are coming from, our stands are coming from, right? So I believe I'm doing something good as a citizen journalist from Russia that reports on the news and some stuff, geopolitical stuff from Russia, right? And from pro-Russian standpoint, as I understand it. And you think if Kremlin's administration, if state-financed media here in Russia, if Russian government in general, foreign ministry also, really care that much about optics in the West or elsewhere, do you think my project would be in a survival mode all this time? Don't you think they would create some fund or something, right? That would help these creators. There are very few creators, very few people that do what I do, by the way, on internet, right? There are channels from Russia, but in news and political commentary, there is very few. And don't you think if Russian government or Kremlin's administration or even state-run media or state-financed media really cared about sharing to the world our stand, right? So that world community would understand us better. If they care about it, would not they create some fund or something, right, that would help these independent creators to stay in this field? But they did not, man. They didn't. They don't give a fuck, man. That's the simplest answer. They would never ever acknowledge this openly, right? And they will continue to pour money into RT, this garbage, by the way, into some other shit, right? And they will say then, you know what, we are trying, we are trying to share our takes with the rest of the world. They spent God knows how much money on RT India, by the way, that was launched literally like a few days ago, right? God knows how much money was spent there on that project, right? God knows how much money is spent on RT, and RT is, by the way, state. It's affiliated with the state. My 7 million views, I truly believe my 7 million views objectively are much more effective and means much more than 70 million views on RT, because whatever you're going to hear from RT, you're going to think, I mean, how should I take this freaking news? I mean, is there saying this stuff because they are state financed or not? But when you watch my videos, you know this guy is freaking crazy, man, right? He says what he thinks. He shares with us information that we can check then, right? He gives us the sources from where he took this information, and he shares his own freaking opinion, right? We might agree with him or not, but at least we know that this guy is freaking independent. He does his thing, right? And you think if there was anyone in the government here in Russia actually think that, well, we have to support these independent creators that are, at least from pro-Russian standpoints, are sharing some views and the information in this world, they would create it. But they don't care, man. They simply don't give a flying fuck about it. That's why Russia is this bad, man, communicating with the rest of the world through media stuff. That's the answer for you, man. It puzzles me too. Why is this happening, man? All the Western countries, by the way, have created numerous number of freaking institutions, right? They call it a soft power, isn't it, or whatever. And they are supporting God knows how many projects, how many channels, even without those channels even realizing that they've been supported, right? In some cases, they're directly supported. In others, they probably don't really understand that they've been supported by them, because they care, man. Western elites, they realized long ago that soft power matters. But Russian leadership just don't care, man. I guess this is a historical tradition here. I don't think Soviet Union was doing any better. And independent Russia is also don't really, it seems to me that they don't really care about freaking optics, man. They say, you know what, truth is on our side and the truth will prevail. That's their attitude. And well, I can sympathize to the courage, right? And to principle itself that, truth is on our side and truth will prevail. I love that. But you have to help this truth, by the way. You have to help other people to understand that this is the truth, right? If those other people only listening to freaking BBC or freaking so-called alternative media on YouTube or Rumble or anywhere else on X, so-called alternative media that also propagates freaking Western narratives, then you are losing. You might be right to the heavens, man. From here to heavens, man. You could be 1,000,000% right, but if you cannot share your truth, right? If people worldwide are not seeing your prospect, have not seen your arguments, if they are unable to see that you are on the right side of history, then what the hell? You can be 100% correct, but so we are losing. That's why we are losing. If this information war, unfortunately, you know. It is what it is. You might disagree with me, you might agree with me, but that's how it is. And I don't know. As I said, I did not watch interview of Kaling, latest interview of Kaling with British MSM. I don't know what he said about Novichok, but I mean, when it comes to this freaking Novichok, by the way, I would recommend all Russian diplomats to say just one, two sentences. Western propaganda, you know, from the beginning of this Western false flag operations and anti-Russian operation that they started, British one, British intelligence, for example, and British government with the Novichok, for example. They were always pushing this narrative that this Novichok is a military-grade, deadly chemical weapon, right? That's what their narrative was, that this is a military-grade, deadliest chemical weapon ever existed, right? And whenever Russian diplomats or whomever is asked, you see, you try to poison someone there with Novichok and stuff. First of all, with Novichok, no one, this Novichok should be freaking deadly stuff, right? And secondly, how come that no one freaking died, man? How come that none of their people that allegedly was targeted with the Novichok, this super pooper blame freaking deadliest chemical weapon, none of them died? How? So maybe all this story is false then? Just think about it. That's the response, by the way. Whenever a topic of Novichok pop-ups, just say this exactly as I said, man, and that's it, man. Let them think about the stuff. That yes, I mean, how come that media and Western elites always saying that Novichok is a military-grade, deadliest freaking weapon, chemical weapon that ever existed, and none of their persons that allegedly was targeted with it died. And the British criminal regime come up with a false story that some person, homeless person, find a Novichok bottle on a garbage or somewhere and poisoned and died. So no one that allegedly was targeted by Russia with Novichok died, and London come up with this crazy story that some homeless person find a bottle of Novichok on the garbage bin or somewhere and poisoned and died. It's insanity, right? So I don't know what Kaling said, but you cannot talk about this stuff seriously. On a question about Novichok, just give them a question back. Is Novichok, according to your government, according to your media, is a military-grade, deadliest chemical weapon? Answer will be yes, because that's what their narrative is. Okay. Did your government say that or blamed or accused Russia of targeting with Novichok this, and God knows who else? Answer is yes again, right? Because that's what Western criminal regimes are claiming. And so then, did anyone from these people died that was targeted allegedly by Russia? Answer is no. So then final question gonna be, then think about this. Just take your time and think about this stuff. And maybe you will understand something a little better. That's it, man. You don't have to go in freaking nonsensical talk, man, with these morons that represent Western media, man. Just, deal with them strictly, and demonstrate how stupid they are simultaneously. That's all, right? But when it comes to, yes, soft power and Russian weakness in terms of this media warfare or information warfare, well, that's a historical tradition, by the way, I guess. And just because we are on the right side of history does not mean that world gonna understand us, right? We have to help this world to have information about our stand, and we are struggling to communicate with this world because, yet again, there is not enough attention to subject. And no matter how much money government gonna send to RT or to TAS or RIA Novosti or fuck knows what other medias they are financing, it's not, it just, I'm not saying cut it off completely. No, man, do your thing, but simultaneously create some fund or do something, so that, or encourage at least businesses, encourage media, encourage state-financed media at least to do some cooperation or collaboration with the independent creators. So these independent creators will get some financial aid, right? And they will still afloat in this field. They will still exist in this field of alternative media, or just help independent creators. But they don't care, man. And this makes me crazy, man. This is bad, too bad. Maybe, I say sometimes some stuff that are, if anyone ever watched from Kremlin administration my videos, maybe they did not like. Okay, who gives a fuck, man? Am I pro-Russian? I am, right? Am I sharing information from Russian media? I am. Is my information can be checked every time? Every news that I share can be checked on numerous other channels. So am I factual when I'm reporting about you? Yes. So therefore, who gives a fuck if anyone agrees with me, my personal opinion or not? I'm doing something good, by the way. I'm talking to people all over the freaking world, right? From pro-Russian standpoint, and trying to explain why we are on the right side of history. I'm doing something good, and still, after 3 years of struggle in this field, my project is still on survival mode, man. And every freaking day, when day passes, yesterday, for example, there was no single freaking donation. Day after yesterday, no single donation. Every time, every day, I am thinking, am I doing something that I belong to, or maybe I have to fucking just forget about it and go find some other job. Because simultaneously, it's hard, man. I was trying to find these part-time jobs, but they don't, I could not find one, at least by now, one that would not disrupt me from this work, right, to stay on this project. And there no fund, no nothing that I can, for example, go there and tell, I'm doing some stuff. Let's collaborate or something. Can you help to maintain this project? I can try to find advertising, right? But there is no such a culture here in Russia to support alternative medias among businessmen, right? Otherwise, those businesses probably would already find me and advertise whatever business they do, right? I'm talking 99 point some percent of my viewers are from outside of Russia, potential tourists, by the way, right? So how come that? And I already have like 7 million views, right? Plus on YouTube alone. So how come that none of the hotels or some cafes or restaurants or whatever, none of the businesses that are related to the tourism industry contacted me and tried to do some stuff? That would help me. I would do advertising. I would go there. If it's a nice hotel, I will check it, if it's all good, right? I'd be, comfortable to advertise that business, and I'll do it. Only offers that I get about advertising something is from the Western companies. And I always refuse. And in most cases, I just ignored it completely. I did not even get to the bottom of the letter, because I want to advertise only Russian. I don't know what these Western companies are, what their actual intentions are, and I have no time to guess about it, right? So I'm not considering advertising any Western companies, only Russians. And Russian companies don't give a fuck also, because there is no such a thing here as supporter alternative media or supporter creators or stuff like that. It is what it is, man. It's fucked up. It's not supposed to be like that. Anyways, let's continue. I see Chains is commenting or asking, is there a push for digital wallets and their ID in Russia? Well, digitization in Russia is on high level. This is true. Digitization in Russia is on a high level, and and there is a push now for crypto ruble. It's not crypto ruble; it's digital ruble, right? There is push for that already. One payment, experimental payment, was made in a digital ruble for a employee of Central Bank of Russia or employee of Finance Ministry. They are experimenting, by the way, on a digital currency or digital ruble. Probably we will get to digital ID point two. And when it comes to digital wallets, well. Here, I don't know in other countries, but here in Russia, by the way, cash is almost out of business. Everyone is using cards, by the way. I honestly cannot remember when I last time used cash. Probably several months ago. When I probably, there is one Georgian restaurant at one place, and several months ago, me and my family went to that restaurant, and I left tips with cash, right? That's the last time when I use paper money. Rest, by the way, is all cards. So level of digitization here is tremendous, and I don't see this in a negative way. By the way, I don't know why. Maybe I just maybe I don't understand or something. But here in Russia, digitization is actually a positive thing. We have Gosuslugi, for example, institution platform on internet, which helps tremendously, by the way, to do some to deal with state institutions. When you have to change your passport, for example, right, or when you have to do anything that you need to go to state institution for some paper or something, this Gosuslugi helps tremendously, and it decreases tremendously also possibilities for officials, and officials are on a different level, isn't it? There are so many state institutions, so many departments, so many this and that, right? And this digitization decreases possibility of some potentially corrupt official to use position to take some money. They cannot now do this, isn't it? Because significant volume of work is done through internet, through programs, right? So, and there are many other examples, by the way, that digitization actually moved her life quality of life here in Russia forward, and that's why maybe I see these positives of digitization. I don't really have negative attitude towards it. Okay, if digital IDs will be introduced, I mean, government institutions know about me everything anyways, right? They literally know about me more than I remember, correct? They know everything. So now, instead of, if I will have some digital card instead of passport, and if all my data will be like, I mean, what is the problem with the digital ID? I truly, what is the issue there? I don't understand. One might say, well, they will control you. I mean, how they gonna control then me more than they can control me now, for example? If I do some freaking crazy stuff, if I break the law, I'll go to jail, right? That will happen now. That will happen if I had their digital ID. And if I'm a good citizen and doing no wrong, then who cares, man? Do I have a paper passport or digital ID? I mean, who cares, really? Correct? And if anyone thinks that, if anyone thinks anywhere in this world that they cannot be tracked, or secret services of their countries cannot know, if they want to, by the way, cannot trace them and cannot listen to them and cannot know anything about them, it's a mistake. In modern era, by the way, secret services, if you become interested for them for whatever reasons. If you think you can hide from them, and it's mistake. You cannot. You know, you just cannot, man. It's not physically not possible. You just have to then get rid of greed completely, go into some freaking desert where there is no means of communication, nothing, right? And stay there. In that case, yes, you are kind of untraceable. But how long you gonna stay in that freaking forest or desert or whatever? You know. So level of digitization here is a high on high level, by the way, and I truly don't see negatives in that. You know, digitization was used to move forward quality of life here in Russia. Maybe in Western countries, maybe this will be used there against citizens, not to benefit citizens, but against them. Could be case. I don't know. I cannot talk about Dutch people and their experiences, or American people and their experiences, or Brits. I'm not living there, but here in Russia, digitization is actually something of positive, and I don't think that many people have any negative attitude on the matter, objectively speaking. And dear friends, there was a donations. There was a donations through different platforms. So let me highlight, if I may. After all, this is not just community chat, but also fundraising stream. And let me copy now. Screenshots, and I will highlight this. Also, I need to copy. There was donation. There was super chat on Rumble, donation through PayPal, and also I see message from Boosty, donation from Boosty. So just a sec, dear friends. We have a good chat, isn't it? What you say, dear friends? I think this way might be better when it's, after all, community chat, isn't it? We can have these Sundays just for us, and at the same time, I can go through some news also time to time. But I think it's one day a week we can just have a talk, man. Just casual conversation. So I made there this screenshot also, and I will highlight this one too. Interesting. Okay, let me first highlight then what I already copied. There was a $30 donation, your friends, from Dominic through PayPal. Thank you very much, Dominic, for your donation. And their comment is from Dominic. Thank you, Levan, for all your hard work. Hopefully, more people here in the US appreciate your effort. Thank you very much, Dominic, for your generous support. Thank you very much, and many thanks for your kind words. Also, dear friends, there was a 2 super chat on Rumble. I will highlight super chat. There is super chat from Blorp. Oh, long time, Blorp. Hope everything is good on your side. Thank you very much for your super chat. And the comment from Blorp is, you deserve the best for what you do. Here is a gesture to show appreciation. Thank you very much, Blorp, for your kind words. Truly appreciate your support. Thank you and attention. Thank you very much. And there was also super chat from Daniela. Let me highlight. So Dimo Scatter, thank you very much for your support, super chat on Rumble, and $5 donation. Thank you for your honest reporting. This saying, and thank you very much for your support and attention. And also Blorp through super chat donated $10. So I appreciate you friends your support. Thank you very much. And at this point we reach it was 30 10, 45, correct? Yes, $45, 55 actually, because there was a $10 donation through Boosty, by the way, also. And I'm trying to copy to highlight, and for whatever reason it seems that it does not works. For whatever reasons, I'm gonna try again. Let me highlight, dear friends. Sorry for this pause, but I just have to highlight this, and I'm like a dinosaur with these gadgets, by the way. I'm trying to learn how to do stuff. Anna is not here now. She sent me these screens that I already highlighted, and but Boosty is on my phone. So what should I do now? Did it worked? No, it's not working. Okay, I will read her. Jamie, thank you very much for $10 donation, 739 rubles on Boosty. Thank you for this, and also let me check. Man, I have to open Boosty, man. Dear friends, I may go off for a second. Okay, I see now. Thank you very much, Jamie. Once again, am I online? I supposed to be. Thank you very much once again for 739 ruble donation tip, and comment from Jamie is hope this helps. Thank you very much. Definitely does. All this thanks to these donations, subscriptions on Patreon and Boosty. I am still in this field of news and political commentary, so it definitely does helps. Thank you very much to you, Jamie, and to all the members of our community who supported and continues to support. Truly appreciate. Truly grateful for this unique opportunity, absolutely unique opportunity to be in this extremely competitive field, by the way, isn't it? So thank you. And I can go back now to chat. Sorry, dear friends, that it took this long. Oh, Viper is commenting. Lewan donated on Patreon. Thank you very much, Viper. Thank you very much. I'm opening my Patreon right now, dear friends. Hopefully, notebook will not crash while I'm doing all this stuff. Viper, thank you very much for subscribing to to my Patreon. I appreciate your support. Thank you. Thank you very much. And well, let's continue our chat. Hopefully, programs will work okay. And Michael Kennedy is commenting, most people won't do anything until they are jobless, cold, and they're hungry. It's coming. I guess Michael is commenting on a matter that society should be a little more proactive in UK or in any other uh, Western country where governments are pushing for these hostile policies towards others while neglecting interests of their own people. And you know what, Michael? This is you are saying unfortunate truth. That's the unfortunate truth, actually. That I guess until people will feel on themselves results of these crazy policies of their own elites. Until then, maybe they would just maybe express their opinions, but probably would not go any further than that, or maybe even would not express opinions. Once they will start actually feeling and seeing, right? And when this situation comes unbearable, at that point, people probably will start acting to do some to achieve some changes. Maybe that's not maybe most likely that's the situation. So I agree with you 100%. Most people probably will act as you said. Dear friends, capital Q, sir. When you have a question that you want to discuss, please use capital letters at those times. Vadim is commenting, Levan, only one from Russia side who not banned and still kicking even under shadow ban. Uh, when it comes to daily news and their political commentary, I don't really know. I myself don't know any other channel from Russia that will do what I do in this way. But there are some other channels in a segment in general terms in segment of news and political commentary. There are some other channels too. Krapivnik, for example, is quite active. He has very interesting videos, by the way. There are some other channels too. They just have different style, but it's only a few. It's only a few channels from Russia. We are all different, but there is a few, by the way, and that's it. And YouTube can ban any of us literally at any day, any time. You know, they choose a shadow ban, I guess, because this way they are restricting reach of my channel. They are restricting reach of other channels, right? So therefore, formally, they are kind of not censoring. They are not completely banning all channels from Russia, because you see, there are a couple of left But same time, they with these shadow bans, they are restricting reach in such a level that even though our community on YouTube, for example, is a 35,000 plus, I guess only several hundred people, maybe at best, getting any notifications about any my updates, right? And the rest of the views are from people that either saw my video by chance on YouTube page, or intentionally checking my channel, searching my channel, and watching the videos. I'm asking quite regularly my wife, for example, when she last time received notification about me being online or about any of my videos. She can't remember, you know. So there are few of us left on YouTube, and that's about it, really. Comment from Nikos. I did not said that MS Hadley was a racist, Levan. I said she was a racist. In fact, I see more realists in Western journalists. Do you think there is a reason behind that? In fact, you see more realists in the Western journalists. Am I reading wrong, Nikos? Because I get little confused there. You think Western journalists from MSM are realists? I probably this is some mistake in the comment. Uh, maybe maybe you were saying something else, because to call Western so-called journalists realists, you know it's a big exaggeration, isn't it? There are no journalists in Western MSM, none, literally none, zero. You want to see Western journalists? There is alternative media for that. That's it, man. But I guess you wanted to correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess there was some apichatka, as we call it. You was writing something else, and maybe it was an automatical translation. If you are writing in other language and then automatically translating in English, but I would not call Western journalists realists, by the way. No, they are not journalists. They are propagandists, first of all, and they are as far from reality or understanding of reality as it can be. Arcane Eclectic is commenting. I've been saying that for years, Levan, even since discovered your channel. I wish RT would hire you. Oh, they would not. They would not. Veterans of our community know. When I launched this project in the beginning, initially I start this project because I did not really had much hopes, but I start English language videos. I start publishing English language videos in hope that at least I will remember language, because last time I spoke English was I don't know, when I was living in England, right? Since then I did not really had a practice for like 2 decades, and of course you're gonna forget language. I mean, your vocabulary gonna become poor. You're not necessarily gonna forget language, because I was listening to English channels without any issues, right? I always understood. My knowledge some 25 years ago was not bad, knowledge of English language, but due to big pause and absence of practice, if you see my old videos, you will realize what am I talking about. I was struggling, by the way, to much more than I do now, to find the right words, right, while building the sentences. And at the time, while I had no idea where this project will go, I was thinking that, you know what, I can practice my English here, I was thinking that maybe I can find, if my English improves, maybe I will find a job in a tourism business, right? That was one of the things that was in my mind. And same time, of course, I had the hope that maybe this channel, maybe something will come out of it, right? Deep inside, I definitely had such hopes, right? At least a little bit. And you see, I'm more than 3 years now, and I'm still here. And one of the ways to improve my English a little faster was to speak English, right? To practice English on daily basis. And that's why on several occasions I apply on vacancies that RT had. I applied on vacancies and they ignored me. They did not answer even that, you know what, due to age or due to whatever reasons, we cannot, right? They probably did not even read my application. I guess they did not even read. But yeah, I wanted to go to RT first of all, I did not really wanted to work on RT, to be RT's journalist, but I wanted to have a practice in English because it's if I would be part of this English speaking media, then of course there must be many people that speak in English, right? So that would be good practice for me. That was my mindset, right? And same time, if I have to do some report from here and there, okay, right, great. But yet again, they did not even read, I guess, my application. They never cared, man, right? And yet again, main reason why I applied for RT was to have a practice in English. Here in Russia, RT is perceived as a tremendous success story. Tremendous success story, by the way. That's how this project is being presented to public, at least through MSM. And you know what? At some point, RT was big, actually. At some point, I was watching RT, by the way, like 5-7 years ago, maybe 10 years ago. At one point, I remember there was a programs on RT that I was regularly watching, right? But then things change. Then things change, even before 2022 escalation, by the way. Then things change. RT changed in some ways that I find it not really that interesting to me personally. I don't know about others. If you have no access to any alternative media, if you're living somewhere in US, for example, and RT is the only source you have to hear something different from American MSM, then yes, it will work in that case. But I don't really need RT to have alternative sources of information. I mean, I can choose. So therefore, I'm not gonna go against RT, man. They are doing their thing. Okay, just a few days ago they launched RT India. Okay, let them succeed, by the way. But I want them to be pro-Russian. There is nothing wrong to be pro your country, man, right? I want them to be more pro-Russian and this to be visible. There is nothing wrong with that. You maintain your objective position while you are reporting. If you are reporting about something that happened, just be absolutely objective, share whatever has happened, right? Exactly as it happened. But when it comes to opinion piece, don't shy away being pro-Russian, man. Russia is on right side of history, and we have to highlight this every day, every second, every minute, everywhere, so that world will know better. That's my take. Also, Arkan Eclectic is commenting, Levan, I remember asking you when I first started following your channel about the possibility of you collaborating with Sofia Shevardnadze somehow, and I hope that still might be possible. Well, one of the programs that I was watching on RT was her program. Actually, she was working on RT. I don't know if she does works now too. I don't really follow RT that much. I do follow RT on this their website, by the way, on their English language website, and I do share quite often news from them, right? Because it's written in English, and I don't have to use mechanical translation as it is case, for example, with as it is case, for example, with purely Russian language media outlets, right? So, so I don't know if she still works on RT, but she had a very interesting program, and at least several of her programs were absolutely brilliant. By the way, interviews. She was doing interviews, right? And several interviews I liked. Just I still remember to nowadays. So they were good, very good interviews, and I mean, great conversations, right? And well, she is big, right? She's a big name. She's a granddaughter of Eduard Shevardnadze, former Georgian president, right? I don't like Eduard Shevardnadze, though. I have very critical opinions of him and also about Gorbachev. Eduard Shevardnadze was a foreign minister of Soviet Union before Soviet Union collapsed, and Gorbachev was number one, isn't it, at the time? And I don't like either of them, either Shevardnadze or Gorbachev, for many reasons. That's a different story. But yes, Sofia Shevardnadze is a granddaughter of Eduard Shevardnadze, who became a president of Georgia, by the way, second president of Georgia after Gamsahurdia, when Georgia gained independence after USSR. And yes, Sofia Shevardnadze, my impression is that she can do very, very good programs. She's an intelligent person. And I don't know her personally, so I don't know her personal qualities, but I think she is intelligent. She can do great, very interesting interviews, conversations. She is big, man. Even if I would try to reach out to her, I don't think she will acknowledge my existence. So therefore, idea, I don't know, man. I am too small. Right? So therefore, I cannot even imagine what can we do, допустим, let's say, like, it sounds good, though. It sounds good, but yet again, my project is too small. I'm literally unknown outside of our community. No one knows about me, and I'm quite happy about it, by the way. I'm not doing Russian language programs, although financially it would be much more beneficial, obviously, right? But I don't do Russian language programs because I don't want to be known, right? I spend all my life working as a writer, journalist, because I never wanted to be known to anybody, writer. I want to walk free, by the way, outside, right? Without anybody recognizing me. And that was a choice. That was choice I made decades ago, right? To be writer, journalist, never to become public figure. And if you are TV journalist, you becoming a public figure because everyone knows you, right? And so yes, I'm nobody, right? So therefore, I have to keep that in mind, and that's why I'm not really that keen to ask for interviews. Even, I'm doing my thing, and that's about it, man. But yes, I mean, ideally, you remember I have said a couple of times that if I had the opportunity, if I had the funds to build a studio, to transform this project into something bigger, then I would build a studio. Ideally, I want this main leading project, to be like there is a studio, several hosts, right? Several, three, four hosts that are discussing different topics, and they're inviting guests regularly. There are guests either in a studio or through internet, right? And there is communication about some interesting stuff. I believe such a project from Russia will will have demand, right? People would like this type of project to see, and I don't think I'm gonna ever be in a position to do it, to do this project, but maybe Sofia Varnadze will. Probably she's is in a position that if she wants to, she can build a studio and find co-hosts and do something like that. It would be success. I have no doubts about it. So also, Vadim is commenting. Stanislav Krapivnik is bringing lots of Georgian thinkers on his channel. I have seen at least on several occasions. Yes, from Georgia. I was thinking, time to time, maybe I can contact some people in Georgia. Maybe ones that I know personally, for example, from my pastor when I was living in Georgia. But yet again, I'm more focused on doing what I do right now, and but maybe one day, ideally, I was thinking to invite her at least to have at least one interview every week, so that I can invite, let's say, four people once a month, right? Four or five. So every week I will have a guest, and we will discuss about weekly stories, right? This is relatively easy to do, but yet again, you need peace of mind. By the way, this is quite fucked up business actually that I am in, and I have personal life too, right? And ideally, yes, I could do this, at least like invite once a month 4 or 5 experts in different fields and have an interview. In that case, every week I would have one interview. But yet again, I mean, time and you need to have peace of mind, to be a little more organized, little better organized. And my wife is helping me as much as she can, but there are certain stuff that has to be done by me, right? Like programs are host in this program is me, right? So I have to do it, even if I'm not in. If I should do something else right now, right? But I have to do a program because this is obligation. That's what I do. But yes, Krapivnik does. By the way, I mentioned Krapivnik. He does great work also, absolutely, and he's very active. He's very active. He's very much engaged in humanitarian activity also, and he's a great person, by the way, and great figure, great leader, I will say, in Russian part of alternative media. So, and he is being suppressed also, by the way. I think his channel is also very much in shadow ban, for sure. And dear friends, let me highlight. There was a what? Seriously? Viper. Anna just dropped to me details. I opened their Patreon. I opened the Patreon, and I tried to see details, and their platform did not show me. Maybe there is other way to see it, and it is probably. But Anna just dropped a screenshot. This new subscription message came to mail, and she checked the mail, and she sent me screenshot of it. And God knows me, thank you very much, Viper, for your very generous support and subscription. Viper subscribe to my, should I say Viper? Of course I should, right? Viper subscribe to my Patreon for $108. How you did it, man? This screenshot is in Russian, and because when you are in Russia, these sites automatically translate in your language, and it says that Viper just sent you $108. Thank you very much, Viper. I'm gonna find out after the stream. I'm gonna get to it and learn more about it. But thank you very much for your generous support, Viper. Thank you very much. Through this is through Patreon, right? Yes, this is through Patreon. Thank you very much, Viper. I can understand. Anna commented me. You paid for whole year, so yes, I understand now. Thank you very much for a full year subscription, Viper. Thank you. On my Patreon, Anna explained it to me because she probably realized that Levan will get confused while seeing this. Yes, thank you very much, Viper. And also let me highlight super chat on Rumble, dear friends. Super chat is from Dead Reckoning and also from Blorp again. And let me highlight, dear friends, and then let's continue our chat. So this is Viper's supporter on Patreon. Thank you very much, Viper. Truly appreciate your support. Viper subscribe to my Patreon channel for whole year. So thank you very much. And also let me highlight, dear friends. Blorp, thank you very much again for your super chat on Rumble and very generous donation of $50. Thank you. I appreciate your support. I wish I could give more. Tell Anna we appreciate her as well. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Blorp. Truly grateful for your support. All of us are, by the way. I mean, this is my job, right? Full-time job, and thanks to support of community, I can pay for a renter and deal with some bills. Anna working, and she's helping with the rest. So thank you very much. I appreciate your support, dear friends. Thank you. And also, Also, there was a super chat from Dead Reckoning. Thank you very much, Dead Reckoning, for your super chat and $5 donation. And comment from Dead Reckoning is, I got her in a late too, so I did not hear you update. What do you think of the US national security strategy? Big win for America first, in my opinion. Thank you very much for super chat, Dead Reckoning, and donation. Well, I spoke about this topic yesterday, isn't it? And I find this document to be sort of, and I hope I am wrong, but I find it to be part of a deception because same time as this document was dropped by White House, in which Russia is no longer designated as a hostile or enemy, right? And it's exactly the opposite. Improvement of relationships with Russia is designated as a priority, among other things, right? And I do have additional news about this stuff, by the way, prepared for the news segment. We just did not get to the news segment. Today I started, I shared several news in the beginning, then we just having a conversation here about different stuff, and maybe I will answer your question now, and then I will go through some news, and then I will come back to community chatter again. So today we did not have the classical, news segment first, then community chat. Maybe this way is better. That we are straight away engaged in a conversation. All the other days, of course, news segment goes first, and then. So, I find this decision on the face. If we take it on face value, of course, this can be seen as a big win for America first, for sure, and also positive development in terms of Russia-U.S. relationships. If Washington is actually serious about de-escalating with Russia, but same time as this document was dropped, from US also we receive information that Washington is demanding from European NATO member states to ramp up their militarization significantly and to be ready to defend themselves for 2020. They use this terminology, defend themselves, right? In reality, that means to be ready for war, to be ready to go hostile by 2027. And this is quite interesting, I think, because originally speaking, and I mentioned this many times before, all the documents that are publicly available were suggesting that their militarization process, first major part of remilitarization projects in Europe were supposed to be finalized by 2029, 2030, right? Which will mean that by 2029, 2030, European NATO member states, theoretically speaking at least, should be ready to launch a military operation, military hostilities, to launch a war against Russia, basically. That's for what they are preparing. But US now is kind of demanding from Europeans to be ready for war by 2027. So you tell me now what is going on. Either US is actually trying to de-escalate with Russia, or US is trying to lure Russia into yet another trap, right? While simultaneously pushing European countries to further accelerate their militarization process, and instead of 2029, 2030, be ready for a war by 2027. And one of the reasons why they might push them to accelerate this militarization is that on the battlefield, the regime's forces are on a breaking point. And it is far, it's not, and no one can say actually that Turkey regime's forces be able to stand their ground until 2027 even. They might crack completely, they might collapse completely in 2026. And there is a high probability that exactly that is going to happen. And this situation on the ground, I think, is forcing Western ruling class, and US leadership is a part of Western ruling class, isn't it? It forces Western American ruling class to be more focused on militarization of the Europe, right? And this open push from the Washington on Europe, do it faster, is done. They can say it to Europeans quietly, right? But they say quite part out loud because, well, you see what kind of propaganda is being pushed in Europe now by European elites. That, you know what, we have to accelerate, we have to spend more on military. Otherwise, you see, Washington is kind of tired, financing our defense, standing for us. We have to do it ourselves, right? So not to piss off Washington, that's the strategy, I guess, was used. That not to piss off Washington, we have to now spend even more, right, on the military stuff, so that US will stay here and be part of the program, basically. So I see this plan that Washington dropped as a deception. As deception, because simultaneously, also, by the way, yesterday, a number of media outlets reported that in December, this month, US will send their potentially unprecedented volume of weapons. This new administration of Trump will send to Kyiv regime unprecedented volume of weapon systems. So, talk is cheap, and that document that was published by White House about U.S. strategy, it's not obligatory. It's just a talk. It's just a talk, by the way. It's not obligatory. It means literally nothing, right? It costs, it's worth less than a paper that it can be printed, literally. It's not a policy, not obligatory, nothing. Just talk. Talk is cheap, right? Let's see policies. And when it comes to policies, we can clearly see, isn't it? Trump's administration, since the inauguration of Trump in this second term, authorized to transfer 3,000 plus cruise missiles to Kyiv regime, authorized to transfer already $4 billion worth of weapons. Just think about it, $4 billion of worth of weapons. This is tremendous volume of weapons, right? 4 billion is quite a lot of money, by the way. There is numerous countries in this world that don't really spend 4 billion on year terms on their military purchases. Plenty of countries that don't do this. Washington is, this new administration of Trump is allocating, transferring 4 billion worth of weapons. And Mark Rutte just a few days ago said that there is a high probability that weapons for another billion will be added before end of this year. Rutte said it just a few days ago, isn't it? So potentially 4 billion plus, like 5 billion worth of weapons were delivered or will be delivered to Kyiv regime from the America, right? That's the policy, by the way. That's actual steps that Washington takes. Also, very same Washington is pushing Europe for to accelerate for its militarization. And of course, we all see, isn't it, that European elites are not even hiding that they are extreme anti-Russian elements, right? They are extreme Russophobes. So, and we can go on and on, right? So, on one side, there is a lot of talk from Trump's administration and people that are related or loosely related. There are a lot of talks about how much Washington would like to see end of these hostilities, end of this proxy war, and how much they would like to see normalization or de-escalation, at least, relationships with Russia. But on the ground, there is a very different picture. On the ground, they are continuing to escalate, right? And just because Trump is saying that, you know what, we are not gifting now these weapons to Kyiv regime, Europeans are paying for these weapons now. I mean, for Russia, it does not make difference. In terms of actual involvement of the US in this proxy war, nothing is changing. It's still American weapons that are used against Russia. It's still America that is a leading force, by the way, in this proxy war, right? So you see, I have many reasons to be pessimistic. Yet again, if we take words or talk from the Washington, from Trump's administration for face value, then yes, you might see that you might say there is some reasons for optimism, but can we take their statements for face value? Can we truly trust them? No, we can't. Let's be real here. And first of all, we can't because their policies say otherwise, right? Their actual policies say that they are as hostile as ever, right? So it is what it is, man. I would love to see the escalation. You know, and all the members of our community know my take on Russia-U.S. relationships. I definitely see U.S. as a potentially Russian good partner, if not the ally, in case America is run by America First people or by patriots, by the way, in case America run by people that care about America, right, and American people. But until American people will regain control over their own country, U.S. gonna be led by all sorts of interest groups, powerful, very powerful groups of interests, and they cannot be ever trusted. It's just it is what it is. And Trump is part of this game. Trump, his administration, by the way, Rubio, Vance, and all the others are part of the game that is launched and led by these very influential, powerful groups of interests. We can call them, I don't know, Zionists, deep state, globalists, Silicon Valley, banking system stuff, intelligence community. There are a lot of groups, isn't it, that are doing their thing. But none of them are America First, that's for sure. None of them care about ordinary American citizen or citizens. So until this is the case, until system is changed, I don't really think we will have actual good reasons to be optimistic. That's my response, that reckoning. I see some optimism in your comment that maybe America First forces are regaining initiative in Washington. Let's hope your optimism will prove to be correct. Let's hope for that, because that would be great. I want to see the escalation between Russia and US, obviously, but unfortunately, I'm more pessimistic. You know. And dear friends, let's go through some news. What you think? I will share with you the news that I have prepared, at least some of the news, and then we can continue, isn't it? Then we can continue our chatter. It's already almost 2 hours. This community chat is going. So let's talk about news now, and what I have bookmarked here. Near Kupiansk, by the way, I think this is interesting news worth our attention. TASS news agency is reporting that near Kupiansk, Ukrainian militants were ordered to shoot at their own retreating troops. And this is not just a report or not just words, by the way. I listened to radio communication between Ukrainian units, and clearly, whoever was commanding their commander, basically, of the unit that was communicating, was ordered to open fire on retreating troops. So Ukrainian command ordered National Guard fighters to shoot Ukrainian soldiers retreating from their positions near Kupiansk. This is confirmed by radio intercepts obtained by TASS news agency. And as I said, I have listened to this radio, and it's in Ukrainian, by the way. But if you know Russian, you will understand Ukrainian also. It's not always easy. There are some words that are actually different, sounds different and stuff. But I don't know how we can understand what they're talking about. Usually this is the case, and same can be said about all Slavic languages, by the way. Some are more different than others, but if you know any Slavic language, probably you will manage to deal with the other languages also. Let me give you some details. According to Russian security agencies, the recording contains conversation between the commander of the unit of their 15th Brigade of National Guard of Ukraine and his subordinates near Kupiansk. The recording shows commander with their call sign Robinson observing, and there is a detailed information call sign Robinson, so this can be checked, by the way, right? This information can be checked. Because I don't think everybody in Kiev regime's troops, among Kiev regime's troops, have a call sign Robinson. Call signs are unique, right? They cannot repeat so that there is no confusion. So the recording shows a commander with the call sign Robinson observing a group of deserters using a drone, ordering subordinate with their call sign Phobos to shoot to deserters first as a deterrent. If the group continues to flee their position, their militants is tasked with eliminating all those attempting to retreat. TASS previously reported that fighters from 15th Brigade of the National Guard of Ukraine were performing barrier detachment duties near Kupiansk. This led to conflict between the unit's soldiers and soldiers from 114th Territorial Defense Brigade of Ukraine, which involved, among other things, the transfer of information to Russian side regarding the deployment locations of the 15th Brigade soldiers. So, this 15th Brigade is used as a blocking detachment. So, as you can see from this report, they are executing, retreating Ukrainian militaries. And there was even gunfight, by the way, between members of this 15th Brigade and 114th Brigade, right? And there are reports, by the way, that members of 114th Brigade transferred information to Russian side about location of certain units of 15th Brigade that were involved in executions of the Ukrainian soldiers. This information once again highlights level of degeneration, of institutional degeneration of the Kiev regime's armed forces, isn't it? When two Ukrainian brigades are shooting at each other, one is used as a blocking detachment, another is sharing with the Russian side information about this first one. It's a mess, by the way. It's a mess, but as I said, I have listened to radio, and it's factual, by the way, right? And there is call signs, so it can be easily checked. If anyone, let's say from Kiev controlled territory, is watching my video, well, they can check, by the way. Are there Robinson, someone with the call sign Robinson and someone with the Phobos call sign in this 15th Brigade? And when they will find out that, yes, these people are there, they will understand that they are involved in the killing of their own Ukrainian soldiers that are retreating from the positions. Not the first time this is happening, by the way, and I'm afraid not the last time. One of the reasons why Kiev regime's forces are, in many instances, are refusing to withdraw or lay down arms and surrender, because they are watched. More often than not, they've been watched, monitored through drones, through other means, and there were so many instances, isn't it, when one of the units of Kiev regime is deciding to retreat, but they are executed, all of them, killed through artillery shelling, through mortar shelling, through direct fire. There were videos, by the way, on internet when point-blank executions, when those retreating soldiers were captured by these blocking units and then executed on the spot, right? There are so many such videos. And also, there are videos when Kiev regime's forces are deciding, units are deciding to surrender, and they are targeted. And they are targeted at exactly then. So these kind of stories repeat themselves time and again. Also, interesting report, by the way, from Che Bowser, the Irishman in Russia Telegram channel. I believe Che Bowser is cooperating with RT, isn't it? I have seen a couple of videos of him on RT, if I remember correctly. So maybe he's working on RT now. But I have seen quite a few good, very interesting videos from him. And well, he shared on his Telegram channel that Azov commander Belitsky claimed that Poland and Romania, Hungary, Poland, and Romania are waiting for Ukraine collapse to grab territories. They are not preparing for war. They are preparing to take their own scraps in the event of global defeat of Ukraine. Belitsky is saying, and you know what? He is not far away from the truth. Of course, Poland, Romania, and Hungary will wait for their time, no matter how long it will take, and eventually, when Kiev regime will completely collapse, when Russian troops will reach borders of the Western Ukraine, they will, Poland, Hungary, and Romania will make their claims. Quite sure about it. They will make their claims, by the way, 100%. So Belitsky is correct, and this kind of statements from Ukrainian Nazis, by the way, should be taken very seriously by leadership of Poland, Hungary, and Romania, because they know now for sure that these neo-Nazi formations, their core will be in Western Ukraine when they will these neo-Nazi formations, Azov Battalion and all the others, Azov formations and others, they will manage, by the way. They are not really under command of anybody in Kiev-controlled territory, definitely not under command of Zelensky. They don't care what Zelensky has to say. There are so many instances when general staff is directing this Azov brigade towards one direction or another, and they are just refusing to go. Or they are acting as detachment or blocking unit or something like that. There are instances when they are actually participating in the fight, but more often they are refusing. So probably this Azov and other groups will be well armed and prepared to fight Polish, Romanian, and Hungarian troops once they will enter Western Ukraine, and they will, by the way. They will. And one of the reasons I believe why Poland, for example, is this hesitant to even discuss the escalation or the end of this proxy war that West is waging against Russia is that they know if conflict ends now, then Poland will either never have opportunity to reclaim Lvov and Rovno and other cities and settlements in Western Ukraine that used to be part of Poland, or if they will claim these territories anyway, then they will have to face these neo-Nazi formations that are quite a battle capable, battle ready, and well armed and trained, by the way, also in many cases. Not on all cases, but in many cases, right? And that's why Warsaw will, of course, prefer this conflict to continue as long as possible, so that these neo-Nazi formations will lose as many personnel as possible, so that Polish troops will have an easier time while reclaiming some 70% of Western Ukraine. No 1%, no 2%, but some 70% of Western Ukraine. Huge part of Western Ukraine used to be Poland before Second World War, by the way, right? Hungary will reclaim Transcarpathia, and Transcarpathia is a relatively tiny area, although mountainous area, and it's not going to be easy there too for Hungarian troops or special forces to establish full control and neutralize neo-Nazi formations, but they will manage this because it's tiny compared to 70% of Western Ukraine that Poland will have to clear from the Nazis, right? And of course, Romania will claim some territories too, that's for sure. And they should get ready now. They should start preparing, not now, yesterday, day before yesterday, because eventually they will have to deal with these Ukrainian Nazis that they help to arm and in some instances even train and finance, right? With the exception of Hungary, by the way. Hungary, I believe, never participated either in the training of the Nazis, even before 2014 coup d'etat, and neither after, right? Hungary was always trying to stay away, right? from this stuff. But Romania and Poland especially will definitely participate big time. Also interesting news, dear friends, that tanker Kairos that was targeted by British and Kiev regime secret services in the Black Sea several days ago has run to ground off coast of Bulgaria. There was attempt to move this vessel towards the coaster and do it through harsh weather. It took quite some time, and now this vessel has run to ground. And who knows, by the way, if weather goes even worse than it is right now on the Black Sea, there might be some ecological catastrophe not far away from Bulgarian coast. That's what, and if Sofia will start complaining about it, then well, there is a Kiev regime and there is London. They can complain. They can start complaining right now, and see if either London or Kiev will listen to them. I don't think so. I find it strange, isn't it? When literally nobody in the Western world is talking about this stuff. Oil tankers, by the way, oil tankers being attacked in the Black Sea. Clearly, London was leading this and continues to lead this terrorist activity, maritime terrorist activity, while using Kiev regime as a plausible deniability, and not even environmentalists, by the way, not even these so-called environmentalists that allegedly care so much about everything. Not even they say single word, man. Did you hear anything in the Western media, even for Greens or environmentalist activists or anybody? Did you hear any criticism of these actions? The tankers being targeted, 2 tankers in the Black Sea, and I think Turkish tanker that is sinking off coast of Senegal was most likely attacked also in the Black Sea. It just because it did not lose engine, it just continued its path and reached African coast and then just went down there. And interestingly, not even Turkey is making much noise about it. While these 2 tankers in the Black Sea were attacked in the Turkish economical waters, by the way, right? And that third tanker that is sinking now in off coast of Senegal, African continent, that tanker was belonging to a Turkish-speaking company. And Ankara did express some, did condemn these attacks, sort of express their opinion that this is unacceptable, right, and stuff like that, but nothing, no actual stronger language, by the way, right? That's what is happening, which is quite strange. Those environmentalists are ruining art expositions, right? Ruining artifacts, historical, paintings and statues, sculptures all over the Europe, right? While pretending that they care so much about nature. Well, there is clearly attacks on faking tankers, by the way, right? And because these attacks are conducted by London and Kiev, not a single word. Probably majority of people, I would not be surprised at all, dear friends, if vast majority of people in Europe don't even know that London and Kiev now attacking tankers on open seas. Probably vast majority of people in the collective West have no freaking idea about it. And those environmentalists probably know, and green parties and that kind of stuff. They probably know, but they choose to keep quiet. That's how true they are to the ideas that they push over the people. That's how true they are to principles. They all are fake, man. All of them. These so-called environmentalists and green parties. They care only about themselves and whatever tasks they've been given by globalists. That's about it. They have no care about nature, by the way, or anything that they talk about. Also, interesting report here that I spotted on RT, by the way, RT's Telegram channel. Europe is building a war economy. Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban stated during the televised interview, and he also went to say that Europe is preparing for a war with Russia by 2030. He basically repeated what I was saying for God knows how long now, right? And therefore, I have to agree with the statement of Hungarian Prime Minister. Yes, he's correct. Europe is clearly, I mean, global is clearly preparing Europe for war with Russia, and their approximate data that they want to be ready is, or maybe, or was planning originally to launch their open hostilities is 2029, 2030, but things are changing, right? Their original remilitarization programs were organized in a way that major parts of it must be finished by 2028, 2029, right? But things are changing because of rapid developments on the battlefield in a zone of special military operation. Russian troops are advancing faster and faster. Kiev regime is on a breaking point, and Kiev regime's forces are on breaking point, and globalists failed, at least for now, by the way, at least for now, failed to open second front against Russia. They failed to deal with their manpower issue that Kiev regime is facing. They are trying hard to find all sorts of mercenaries from all over the world to send them, right? They are sending their own military personnel disguised as mercenaries. They are encouraging veterans in Western countries through propaganda and through other means to join PMCs and go and fight alongside Kiev regime's troops. But numbers are still not there. They are losing, NATO or collective West is losing more troops on the ground that they can put in, right? Either through forceful mobilization on the Kiev controlled territory or through recruiting of all sorts of elements worldwide. And situation is getting worse and worse for the NATO, right? For the Kiev regime and its Western masters. And that's why, by the way, that's why Washington is now openly pushing. One of the reasons why Washington is openly saying to European leadership that, you know what, you have to be ready by 2027. Not 2028, not 2029, not 2030, as original plans were suggesting, but 2027. Because Washington knows perfectly well, Kiev regime might not last, and Kiev regime's armed forces might not last to 2028 and 2029 or 2030. It would not last, for sure. It's not a fact that Kiev regime's forces will last until 2027 even, right? Because they are on the brink of collapse. That might happen at any time. So yes, Orban is definitely on a point that Europe is preparing for open war with Russia. This is true, and I have said this many times. But on terms of date, I will now argue with Orban, and I will say Europe, Western ruling class is shifting its policies a bit, and they will try to prepare European NATO member states, if not all of them, some of them at least, right, to be ready for open conflict with Russia by 2027. For 2027, by the way, right? And I'm afraid probability that at one point they're going to be clashes, direct clashes between Russian and NATO troops is extremely high. Extremely high. Scale of confrontation in general terms, military confrontation between NATO countries and Russia might be relatively limited, and most likely we would not see like nuclear strikes and that kind of shit, right? But I think clashes between NATO and Russian troops at this point, Russian militaries at this point are almost impossible to avoid, because European ruling class not going to change the trajectory that they are pushing Europe towards them. But it is good that among European leaders, there are people like Orban that are saying it openly, that these idiots are preparing for a war. They want a war, right? Orban definitely has, reach to much wider audience than I will ever have, right? So therefore, it is very crucial that people like Orban exist in Europe. They have a reach to wider community, European community. They can reach not just to Hungarian people, but to people in neighboring countries all over the Europe, right? He can use different platforms for that. And it is necessary to tell the people. It is necessary to inform the public in the West that their crazy elites, their crazy political leadership is pushing their countries and their societies towards the war with Russia. That I'm quite sure ordinary people in Europe don't want, as we don't want no war with Europe, by the way, or any European country. None of us, ordinary people, by the way, none of us wants no freaking war, but Western elites are pushing towards it, and Orban is saying it openly. Very important, man. I think decades will pass, and history will remember Orban as one of the very few voices of reason in modern times in regards to Europe. For sure, man. One of the few voices of reason from Europe for modern times. Also, I want to share with you this report, by the way, that Kremlin, as I already, Dead Reckoning, member of our community, asked about this national security strategy, new document of US, and the Kremlin reacted on that, of course, that paper. And let me give you some details. Reaction is quite mild, by the way, as one should expect. So the new US national security strategy no longer refers to Russia as a direct threat, a move the Kremlin considers a positive one, according to Russian Presidential Press Secretary Dmitry Peskov. The Kremlin considers the change in the US national strategy, which no longer lists Russia as a direct threat and calls for cooperation and strategic stability, a positive step. Peskov said, "We consider this as a positive step." He also emphasized that Kremlin intends to carefully review the document and analyze it to understand all the new provisions. The Kremlin spokesman added that their updated strategy includes a proposal to establish cooperation with Moscow on issues of strategic stability. And yes, I mean, if we take this document on face value in terms of Russia-US relationships, in terms of de-escalation between West, basically, and Russia, I mean, if we take it on for face value, it's a good document, by the way. It's a positive one, right? For sure. And that's exactly what Peskov said. But question I have is, can we take it for face value? Can we trust US administration that they actually are serious about de-escalating with Russia? That's the question for $1 million, by the way. That's it, man. I would love to see America being led by America First people. That would be great. First of all, for American people, by the way. First of all, for American society, obviously. But then for rest of the world also, because US, in that case, US will be led by normal people, man, decent people with whom one might have not just a dialogue, but cooperation and successful cooperation. But right now, I don't see America First people, by the way, in White House. I don't see America First people in Washington. I don't see America First people in being in a decision-making position in US whatsoever, which is unfortunate. And dear friends, I know there are different interpretations of this, what you mean by America First, right? I personally mean America First when politicians are focused on America first, on best interests of American people. What is the America, by the way? It's people. First of all, any country and every country, only main purpose, main reason for existence is to serve people, right? To protect people, to defend people, to create for people opportunities, right? To seek happiness and success and be good at it, right? That's what we need countries for, to have better opportunities, to have security and better opportunities, right? So in case of America first, that's what I mean, that people that are in decision-making positions are basing their policies on what is good for American people, ordinary American citizens. And I think Russia is led by Russia first people, by the way. I have no doubts that Putin prioritizes Russia's interests. Putin prioritizes interests of the Russian people. We might agree with certain policies of Putin or disagree. We might understand some policies or don't. But I mean, Putin is long enough in the power, right? He's long enough in the position of power, and his trace says it all. By the way, when he became president, Russia was in very dark place, very dark place. After 25 years of Putin's leadership, Russia is one of the major success stories in this world, right? Yet again, you might criticize some policies of Putin. You might don't understand some policies of Putin, as I do, by the way. And quite often I'm expressing my frustration that I don't understand why he's doing this or that, and that's okay. But clearly, Putin's government is Russia first people, because take a look at the Russia. Take a look at the standard of living here in Russia 25 years ago and today. It's like two different freaking universes, right? So that's what I mean by America first. People that will take control of the US, right? And they will have as good results for American people as, let's say, Putin's government has for Russian people. That's it, man. Because there are different interpretations. Some are saying that America first people are racists or Nazis or fascists or something. Why, man? Why you are going this fast right away? Why? If I am Russia first, then I'm somehow fascist or something? What the hell, man? I am Russia first. Of course, Russian government should care about Russia first, and then let's help others. And Russia is playing big role, by the way, on geopolitical scale. It's not just US that involved in different parts of this world in one way or another. Russia is involved in this world in many areas, mainly and practically always from humanitarian standpoint, from positive standpoint. Unlike US that always fights wars and attacks countries, we are trying to play positive role, right? But nevertheless, we are involved, man. And that costs us quite a lot. It's expensive stuff, right? All these humanitarian operations to be conducted and the rest, right? But you don't not gonna hear here too much complaint that Russia is spending too much outside of Russia, because everyone understands that government first and foremost is working for people, and that's the priority, right? Government spends most on country and on development, right? And it's factual, by the way. Yet again, you might like Putin personally or his government or don't, but take a look at the Russia 25 years ago, in 90s, by the way. Look at the Russia or any other former Soviet republic, by the way, at 90s. Oh, it was a hell, man. It was a hell, right? And take a look at the Russia today. Two different universes, right? And when it comes to US, by the way, it's exactly the opposite that is happening. 25 years ago, US actually was in a better. It might sound crazy, but because US was led by these criminal clans then too, but by inertia, US was still moving, still maintaining certain level of quality of life and and success, right? But uh, but after Soviet Union collapsed, after Cold War was finished, basically, there was no reason for US to stay in the same way. US should undergo reforms that it never did, right? And decline of US therefore further accelerated. And 25, 30 years ago, US was still in significantly better place than it is right now. And I think our friends from US, by the way, members of our community from US will agree with me. I'm quite sure everyone will agree with me that US some 30 years ago was in much better place than now. While in case, and that indicates how much US need America first, by the way, isn't it? Because there is decline, and this decline will continue unless something will happen, right? Until Americans will reclaim control over their own country. While in case of Russia, 25, 30 years ago, it was a freaking hell, man. Now, look at the Russia battle. Different universes. Russia is one of the biggest success stories on a global scale of last 20, 30 years, man. So yes, sir, Putin's press spokesman, it's Putin's opinion, right? Peskov is representing Putin, so therefore Putin considers, or Kremlin considers this new strategy, national security strategy of US as something of positive, but yet again, question is how much can we trust them, right? Because talk is cheap, policies, that's what matters. And if you take a look at the policies of Washington, it's a quite a telling story, you know. Based on policies, US is still leading this proxy war against Russia, still in leading position in this proxy war. And by the way, when it comes to, as confirmation for my skepticism, right? Someone, David Marcus, I don't know who David Marcus is, dear friends, probably works on Fox News or something. So this someone, David Marcus, stated that Trump's aggression towards Venezuela is a warning to Putin. He wrote or said on Fox News, maybe he's some sort of official and he was interviewed by Fox News. I have no freaking idea who this individual is. But he said Trump's aggression towards Venezuela is a warning to Putin. And Trump, for whatever reason, posted this statement of his on his True Social. And that's what I'm talking about. I mean, I just said, one thing is what they talk, right? In Washington or elsewhere. Second is the policies, true policies. And Trump cannot help himself, man. Trump cannot help himself. He's acting in ways that is quite revealing. And why? You tell me why Trump shared this statement that Trump's aggression towards Venezuela is a warning to Putin. Trump wants to blackmail Russian president. I mean, seriously, is this a way leader of a major superpower should communicate with a leader of another major superpower? No, it's not, isn't it? This is wrong on so many levels, by the way, that it's hard to even comment. And that's why I don't really take that new national security strategy of that was published by Washington seriously. It's just deception, that's all. Because policies matter, and on a policy level, Washington is still leading country in this proxy war that West is waging against Russia. Unfortunate, man. I know European elites are making more noise, more anti-Russian noise nowadays than Washington, but nevertheless, on the ground, still US plays bigger role than whole European NATO member states combined. So US still is a leading country in this proxy war in terms of weapon deliveries, in terms of intelligence and sharing, and so on and so on. Long range strikes deep into Russia and so on. Right. Zelensky had a 2-hour conversation, by the way, with Witkoff and Kushner yesterday, I believe. And Axios is reporting about it. And topic of discussion was territories and security guarantees, allegedly. But you know what? I said straight away, isn't it, that this Trump 28-point peace plan is also a deception operation and will go nowhere. And that's exactly what is happening. And this topic is kind of phasing away, isn't it? Russia didn't buy into this nonsense. And the topic itself is, you clearly can see there is less and less talk about it, right? Good try, one may say, isn't it? They try, by the way. They try. Tomorrow they're gonna come up with another deception. Day after another deception. Western ruling class needs desperately break for themselves and for their proxy key regime and their key regime's forces. They need desperately this break, and in pursuit of achieving this break, they are popping up these deceptions like on daily basis now, or weekly basis at least, in hope that Moscow will buy into it, but it's not happening. It's just not happening. And Moscow will continue to be polite and diplomatic. Moscow will, most likely, say, no, let's talk. Let's talk, by the way. But you know our stance, right? Russian president in 2024, while meeting with the foreign ministry staff, was very precise, very direct in terms of Russian roadmap towards the peace. And nothing has changed since then. Many Russian high-ranking officials time and again repeated that Moscow's stance did not change. That's it, man. So we can talk all day, every day, okay, but our position is known perfectly well. And as situation on the ground further deteriorates for the regime, if there are going to be any changes in the Russian stance, then obviously in Russian favor, not in hostiles' favor, right? And if now we are talking about new regions, current new regions to be acknowledged as a Russian territory, then give it another year and we will talk about, potentially we will talk about another 4 regions that also have to be acknowledged as a Russian territory. And if this proxy war continues even further, then at one point we will reach and it is quite possible that we will reach the situation when everything east of border with the Western Ukraine, everything east of Western Ukraine will be acknowledged as Russia. And that's the trajectory I see, by the way, we are moving towards to. And the Western Ukraine eventually will be reclaimed by Poland, Hungary, and Romania. That's it. Let's see, by the way, we will find out. And dear friends, there was let me give you these 2 news and then community chat for a little while again. So Europe faces a most difficult moment in a bid to avoid the split with the US. According to Bloomberg, Europe is going through a very difficult moment in its relations with the USA. Everything is heading towards Trump withdrawing his support for Ukraine. The worst scenario would be the cessation of arms sales and the transfer of intel data. The EU does not have its own strategy to help Kiev, Bloomberg is saying. And yet again, dear friends, since Trump's inauguration, how many times you have heard this kind of stories? How many times? It's a constant story, isn't it? It's a constant whining in the Western public field that, well, US gonna drop Ukraine today, US gonna drop today, tomorrow, Trump gonna drop Ukraine, Trump gonna drop NATO, Trump gonna drop EU. And none of it had happened until now, isn't it? And will I be wrong if I will say all this whining is just a deception, also part of deception operation, because that's what it is, man. They are just clearly lying. Trump is a president of for almost a year now, isn't it? He was inaugurated in January, so almost a year has passed, and none of these whining about stories that Wester is known for came true. Trump did not drop Ukraine. Trump did not drop NATO. Trump did not drop EU or UK. Trump did not do any of it. So why there is a constant whining in the West, by the way? Why this fear mongering is being pushed that, well, US gonna drop us and what we gonna do? Why is this happening? Especially from globalist side, by the way. Because divide and conquer, isn't it? They want to keep people terrified, I guess, right? They can justify all the allocations of their hundreds of billions of euros for military purposes while doing so, while terrifying people that, well, US is going to drop us tomorrow and then Russians are coming day after, and what we're going to do, and let's spend more on military industrial complex, right? That's what they do, isn't it? And the more you terrify public, then easier this public to be controlled. They are not challenging. The terrified public is not challenging, not asking questions. They are just following orders. And that's it, really. So it's all deception, by the way. Western media, that's why I call it their so-called media, because they are propaganda pieces. All they do is push propaganda narratives on their own public, and they are also trying to influence the rest of the world also. Trump not gonna drop Ukraine until US is forced to acknowledge capitulation, and Europe will not drop, or EU and UK will not drop Ukraine until European elites are forced to do so. And they will be forced, but they will capitulate at one point for sure. But God knows when that day gonna come. Unfortunately, not today and not tomorrow, because tomorrow on 8th of December, Coalition of Willing gonna have a meeting in London, and Merz, Macron, Starmer, and their proxy Zelensky will discuss whatever they usually discuss during these meetings, man. So they're gonna be another meeting, and they're gonna come up with brave faces and make some brave statements, how powerful they are and how weak Russia is, and how they're gonna achieve strategical defeat of Russia and that kind of nonsense, right? It's all the same, all the same. But in reality, Russia is beating crap out of collective West on the battlefield and on international stage also, by the way. Yet again, more time goes by, I think more and more isolated the Western world is from the rest of the world, isn't it? I mean, don't you have this kind of impression that as more time goes by, somehow it's a Western world that is getting more and more isolated from the rest of the world? And Russia, not just not being isolated, but becoming a leading state, and has become a leading state in this rest of the world, right? And leading member of this emerging multipolar world. That's what is happening. Anyways, I still have a couple of more news, but let's continue with our conversation, dear friends. Let's continue with the chat, and first let me share. Let me share, dear friends, super chat from Rumble, dear friends. There is super chat from Banzo Binzer, our moderator. And let me highlight. Dear friends. And the new member, new subscription, not the new subscription, one of their members on Patreon increased subscription from 10 to 20. Hegum, thank you very much for your support, for increasing level of your support. Let me highlight this right now. Ah. So yes, Hegum increased their monthly support from 10 to 20. So thank you very much for your support. Truly grateful. And also let me highlight, dear friends. I already highlighted this, and let me highlight super chat from Rumble, from Banzo Beans. Happy second Advent to you and your family. Thank you very much, John. Thank you very much, Banzo Beans. And of course, happy second Advent to everybody, to all Christian world, by the way. Thank you, John, for your super chat, for congrats and donation. Thank you, John. John is our moderator, by the way, on Rumble and YouTube. And let me join chat, dear friends. Now, comment from Nikos. Last one, because I don't have time since these days. In fact, I'm getting pretty tired with all sides. I'm considering to tap out of this situation, but I hope for the best for you, Levan, and Russia. Thank you, Nikos. Thank you very much. Let me just say that if you are interested in knowing the stuff, by the way, if you want to know what's going on, then it's going to be very difficult to stay away from the media, from the news, basically, because you will seek the truth anyways, right? So you will still read the news, you will still pay attention to all sorts of reports to formulate your own view on what's going on. That's how we are, by the way. We seek the truth, and truth seekers can have no rest, by the way. It's not possible. I don't think truth seeker can actually take a break. You will always seek the truth, by the way. So you will always try to, and that's what I do. That's what all of us do, by the way, right? We always try to learn more to understand what the hell is going on in this world, right? We need that. There are other type of people, by the way, that don't care. And we all know that type of people, isn't it? They are majority, actually. They just freaking don't care, man, about almost anything, right? I find it fascinating how that is possible. I mean, there is certain developments in this world that potentially have potential to influence everybody's life, right? Potentially can influence all of humanity, but there are still very many people, by the way, that don't think this deep about the stuff, right? And they are, they are less stressed. Therefore, I guess this is some kind of defense mechanism. They try to ignore certain stuff, and maybe therefore they are less stressful. Could be the case. I don't know. I never lived that life, right? Since I remember myself, I was always trying to learn as much as I can, and I don't think I can change ever. By the way, I'm continuing to learn constantly. So yes, there are different people, different types of people, but well, take a break, Nikos. Try take a break from this news and stuff. It is depressing, I know. I work in this field, so it will make you tired, man, right? But little break, and then you know because that's how we do. That's how we operate. By the way, true seekers. We need to know what the hell is going on, right? Uh, Only three Russians on the channel: me, Sveta, and their piano man. Vadim, really? I mean, I did not. I was thinking that you may are Russian. You have maybe Russian roots because of the name, and also, um, first of all, because of the name, right? But I was not sure about it because you are in US, I believe. Uh, Maybe I'm wrong, but I believe you are in US, and so I was not sure. Do you have Russian roots or not? Maybe Vladimir. Anyone can have a name Vadim, isn't it? That not may not necessarily be related to Russia. Svetlana, I know she's says many times that she's Russian from Odessa, right? And the piano man, I did not knew that piano man is from Russia too. By statistics, by the way, 99% of views are from outside of Russia. So there is very few people from Russia that are, and I understand. I mean, from Russia, my channel is in English, right? So if I had the Russian language channels, that's a different stuff. But I don't, and I will never have Russian language channel because no, man. Recently, I was recognized on the street. First time, I believe that was the first time when I was recognized on the street. By the way, and me, my wife, and older daughter were moving towards one optics store. My daughter was planning to buy glasses, and on the way, two people spoke to me, and they say they are following me or something, and I said to them, they were talking to me in English, and I said, we can talk in Russian. I did not even think they were not Russians. They told me that they are not Russians. They are bloggers also from other countries. I would not go in specifics, but yes, that was the first time I was recognized by also bloggers, by the way, writer, not by locals, but bloggers that were here in Russia, are based. They are based here in Russia nowadays, I believe. And you know what? On one side, it was a strange experience, but on the other side, if you think about it, I mean, do I want her to be recognized on the street? I'm walking with my family or alone, and I'm being recognized and stuff like that. I don't find it appealing, really, because if you are recognizable, then it takes freaking. It's huge responsibility, isn't it? It's a huge freaking massive responsibility because you are kind of becoming. I think that's how all their public figures have to think, that they are sort of a role models for other people, right? And they have to act. They have to constantly control themselves. They cannot allow not to freaking even single mistake, because people are looking at them and taking examples, right? And behaving in the way they do. And that's why it's a massive responsibility, by the way. And if someone is not ready for this responsibility, they should never ever get to a public field and never become a public figures, right? Exactly, because you might not be ready for this weight of this responsibility that comes with the territory. So yes, I mean, there may be several people, as you said, that are either Russia related or from Russia, And that's about it. Uh, I'm gonna check, by the way, right now. Interesting. Oh, I can show you even. Let's check in real time. I have not seen statistics for so long, by the way. Let me check right now, and you will see it too. So let's shut down this map and let's open YouTube and check the statistics. Oh, dear friends, 55 minutes ago, uh, video was published on Duran. There's Krapivnik, Stanislav Krapivnik was a guest on Duran, so obviously I recommend you, friends, to watch this video from Duran. I'm gonna do it for sure after this. I might later on today. I will watch it after the stream. I have to. I have to. There's some other stuff to do. So where is the statistics, man? So okay, let's go into Studio and analytics, right? So let's see. I have not checked this for so long, by the way. Audience, right? So let's see which countries are top 5. Audience, there is a. Where is the geography? Where is the geography? Oh, that's it, by the way. So you see here, top geographies. 20.6% is United States. Number one place is United States when it comes to views and subscriptions and stuff. 16% is United Kingdom. 7.6% is Canada. 6.6% Australia, and 3.8% Germany, which is quite interesting. I mean, there is not really that surprising top 4 countries. Germany is in 5th, although logically, I mean, New Zealand could be the 3rd because New Zealand is also English speaking, right? Big time. Let's go through bigger statistics. I mean, look, man, we have our communities from from all over the world, right? So United States is number 1, UK, Canada, Australia, Germany, South Africa, by the way, on a 6th place. Netherlands, Sweden, France, Romania, Italy, India, New Zealand, Spain, Norway, Poland, Japan, Malaysia, Serbia, Finland. I mean, there is lots of even from Ukraine, really. From Kiev controlled territory, there is also some views, and Russia is here, like 0.2%, by the way. 0.2% views come from Russia, according to statistics, and I guess most of these views from Russia are, Westerners or foreigners, let's say, that are visiting Russia and somehow find out about existence of my channel. So that's a little statistics, by the way. It's a long time I have not seen it. So I can remove this now and let's continue. Pinketer Herod is commenting Russia can't compete with the Western MSM. They have their fingers in every platform. Hollywood is a massive cultural brainwashing tool. Well, I mean, yet again, Western elites learn long before, way before maybe even anyone else, that uh, propaganda works, and so-called soft power is something that has to be taken seriously, and they did, by the way, take it seriously. They were spending billions, tens of billions of dollars, by the way, to create an entire system, right? Entire system to be created of propaganda from Hollywood to alternative media. I mean, it's a massive institutions, right? That being created, and it is difficult to compete with the Western propaganda for sure, if possible. Even it's extremely difficult. But nevertheless, we have to work. We have to do whatever we can to challenge this Western fake narratives, false propaganda, and stuff, isn't it? Because we just deserve to know better. We deserve to know what the hell is going on. You know, we need to know. I want to know what's going on and what to expect, right? As all of you do, and many others, obviously. Blorp is commenting, the lack of funding is not reflecting the quality of your work, but it will in time. The current setup is changing fast and will adjust to us, because without us, it can no longer exist in any form. If you Thank you for a comment, Blorp. If you mean timing, that this week especially, I was not able to make live streams at the same time, always at 11 in the morning, as I do Moscow time. I had the reasons, by the way. I don't want to talk about this matter. It's a personal, it's a family matter. It was hard, man. It was harder, scary at the moments, but it's getting better now. Uh, we need some time to be in a better place. Yeah, one of the family members experienced some health issues, right? And I don't want to talk about the stuff, but yeah, I was unable. Right now, I will end this stream, and I have to go. All right. So this week, that was the as I said, we all have personal lives too, isn't it? And life quite often influences our plans. I had very different plans for this week. I was planning to have an update on Patreon every single day. I was planning to have start publishing shorts also, but you see, I was not able to do any of it. And yet again, life dictates its own terms quite often. So consistency is very necessary, Blorp. I agree with you on that. Absolutely, consistency is very necessary, and I'm definitely trying to maintain consistency in my work, and I will continue to do so. Sometimes life will just do what life does, and changes our plans, but it's just life. So Arcan eclectic writer question. So did I miss your question? I might, dear friends. When I'm scrolling, I might actually miss a question. Okay. Arcan eclectic is commenting, the one I find Sophie Shevardnadze's aunt. Okay. And Then Arkan is also commenting, I will translate the letter into Georgian and perhaps this will help you get her attention. I will petition her to check out your work and perhaps she will reach out to you. No, 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 please, please don't. Please don't. No, no, things have to happen naturally, It would not work. I would not feel comfortable. I just would not feel comfortable. And, you know, so please don't tell nobody to contact me or something. No, if anyone wants to have a conversation, or, they can contact me, obviously, but or I can contact, yes, but it has to be natural. It cannot be artificial. And in this case, even if something will come out of it, it will be artificial. And I don't think this is the way. Anything and everything has to be real and natural, right? So please don't contact anyone from Sophie's in Shevardnadze's inner circle. I'm quite sure she is very busy with her own projects, and I don't think she has time to spend it on communicating with me and stuff. So please don't. No, it will put me in a very difficult situation. So please don't. I appreciate your intent. I appreciate that you want to help, but you know everything has its own time, isn't it? So Arkan Eclectic is commenting, asking, have you seen the recent IRT interview that Dmitry Symes Jr. did with General Abdialov? I have seen fragments of it. I have seen some of the statements that Abdialov made, and I understand his statements. But I have not seen full interview. I have not seen full interview, unfortunately. I had to, but yet again, week was crazy, by the way. Week was crazy, and this work crazy enough on its own, and then when lives gives you on top some additional stuff, but then it is difficult to just stay focused on anything really. So I know there was an interview. I have seen fragments of this interview, but not completely. And I recommend you, friends, from what I have seen, Alaudin was sharing very interesting takes there. So Viper. I get. Viper is writing. Levant did not get my Patreon donation. No, I get. And thank you very much, Viper, for a year subscription to my Patreon page. I appreciate your support. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's already 3 hours, dear friends. We have this stream. What you think? Is this way better than when we have when we are communicating straight away, and there are time to time there are some news also? Is this better way than first news segment goes and then just community chat? It's already like 4:09, and dear friends, I will soon end the live stream because, as I said, I have to go to hospital. So Nidish is commenting, Luan, the Western people are now asking oil tankers inside India economic zones. Asking or attacking, Nidish? Luan, the Western people are now asking oil tankers inside the India economic zone. I'm not sure I understand really. They are attacking. There is additional comment. Levan, Western people are asking oil tankers to be attacked inside our economic zone. Absolute nutters. Oh, I agree with you, Nidish. It's insanity. It's a total insanity, of course, to attack oil tankers anywhere, right? This is crazy. I agree with you completely, and I don't know what else. Either this out of control British regime or out of control their proxy Q regime gonna do so that more and more governments worldwide, more and more organizations, and more people, generally speaking, will raise the voice. What the hell? Now we are targeting tankers open in open seas and creating ecological disasters and kind of not even saying nothing about it, just ignoring it because it's tankers and oil that is related with Russia. What's going on here? It's insane. It's insane. As I said, man, out of desperation, unfortunately, this irresponsible criminal activity of the Western elites will only intensify, I'm afraid. And also, Blorp gifted one subscription to a member of a community, and Blorp himself become a monthly subscriber, premium subscriber on Rumble. Let me highlight this also, dear friends. So it is insane. And as I said in the beginning, where those environmentalists are? Where are they? That love to whine about global warming and their climate and their how harmful human activity is. Where are they? Tankers being attacked in open sea, and they are quite. It shows you how fake all of them are. All these people that allegedly care about this planet and their nature. You know, I believe. Of course, I believe there are truly good-hearted people that actually care. But you're not going to find those real people among these activists, man. Those real people are trying to do in real world whatever they can. As I said, Blorp gifted their premium subscription to a member of our community. Thank you very much, Blorp. And this is basically $5 donation to their project when gift when one member of community gives a subscription to other. And also Blorp himself become premium subscriber, let me highlight this too, dear friends. So, Blorper is a new monthly supporter now on Rumble. Thank you very much, Blorper, for your generous support. You've been very supportive also. So thank you very much. Thank you. And dear friends, we had a good conversation, isn't it? I personally prefer this way because we are engaged straight away. But I will read the comments after later on today, and let's see what your opinion is. Yes, sir. Levon, military coup successful in Benin. Yes, I know, dear friends, there was a military coup attempt. I had a news about it, prepared for a news segment. Um, let me highlight it. So I had this news. That's it, by the way. So there was a when I was starting the live stream, by the way, there was attempt of a coup. It was not finalized yet in Benin, West Africa, and Nidish right now shared with us latest information that military coup actually succeeded. Uh, I guess that's what is going on there. Of course, for tomorrow we will learn some more, and I will share. I will have more information on that for tomorrow's live stream. Thank you, Nidish, for sharing the information. And while I go back to new segment, dear friends, let me share this report. As you know, Elon Musk is engaged in a sort of war now with the European bureaucracy, especially he never had good relationships with the EU bureaucracy, but after his X platform was fined for over 100 million by EU bureaucracy, of course, Musk is upset big time. And Ellie Smith, I don't know who this person is, shared this photo on the True Social, the Fourth Reich, and Ellis is calling this to EU, and Elon Musk reposted this picture from and comment from Ellis Smith, pretty much commenting on top of it that yes, pretty much that's the case. So yes, I don't know. EU to me looks like a worst possible parody on Soviet Union. It does not really resembles to me personally to Third Reich, but that's me. They see it as a Third Reich or Fourth Reich. Sorry, Third Reich was during Second World War. They see Elon Musk and many others see current EU as to be kind of a Fourth Reich, but I think it more resembles to worst possible parody on Soviet Union. We both could be correct, by the way. One might see some similarities with one, and others with second possible. Also, Iranian foreign minister will visit soon Russia and Belarus. I guess, among other things, military cooperation will be one of the key topics of discussion between the sides. As Nidish updated us already, military coup seems like succeeded in Benin, West African Republic. Initially, there was reports that these coup plotters captured established control of the TV station, and they were broadcasting the information about coup d'etat taking place. And I guess they tried to establish control over the government building, presidential palace or something. They failed initially, but probably they succeeded after. I'm going to learn some more later on today about these developments, of course. And I will end the news segment, dear friends, on this report that Chinese J-15 carrier-based fighters from Liaoning twice allegedly locked their fire control radar onto Japanese aircraft in two separate encounters over international waters near the Okinawa on Saturday. Yesterday, this happened. The Japan's defense minister Shinjiro Koizumi condemned the move as dangerous and unnecessary. And it was a choice of Tokyo, isn't it? It was a choice of new Japanese prime minister to escalate with China for no reason whatsoever, and that's what they did. And that's what they did. And now you are seeing consequences of this escalation. I remind you, dear friends, that a couple of weeks ago, new Japanese prime minister stated that Japan will confront, basically, Japan will provide assistance to Taiwan in case of some military confrontation between Beijing and Taipei. Also, there was reports that Japan will deploy medium-range missiles on one of their islands. In one of their islands that are, I believe, disputed, all right, between Japan and China. So it's Tokyo that is escalating with Beijing. Clearly, I mean, there can be no doubts about it. Beijing is not looking for this escalation, but now once Tokyo provoked, then Beijing is demonstrating that they are ready, and they are ready to go all the way, and that's what is happening basically. It is unfortunate that yes, relationships are this bad now that Japanese or Chinese fighter jets are actually blocking Japanese planes with their fire control. That's quite dangerous stuff for sure. But that's a strong signal, also strong message. Also, so we should keep in mind, yes, that there is some big tensions between Japan and China, and I would not be surprised at all, based on the trajectory that we are observing now, that relationships between two countries might break down to the lowest point after the Second World War. Probably relationships already are somewhere there. And dear friends, that's and there was also, dear friends, super chat from on Rumble from Banzo Beans from John. Let me highlight. Let me highlight, and then, if I may, I will end the live stream because it's already 4:23, and soon I have to go through a hospital. So не понял, блин. Okay. So this is one super chat, dear friends. Thank you very much, John, for super chat and the dollar donation and the comment. I think it's a more attractive format to break up their news into several segments for longer fundraising streams and interact with the community more regularly. Thank you for opinion, John. I think so too. I had something like that in opinion. So I mean, in the beginning, maybe 1, 2, 3, one segment of the news, then community chat, then another short segment in the news, then community chat. So I will be more engaged. It's better for me too, because after all, this Sunday community chats are community chats. So I have to be engaged there in the chatter. I want to see more of opinions of the member community, exchange opinions. And when I have a new segment first that goes for 1.5 hours, after that I am tired, and I might much more easily miss the question or the comment while I'm scrolling. And community members also getting tired after a long news segment. So probably this part to divide news segment, community chat, news segment, community chat probably will work better, will be more useful, and convenient. Thank you, John, for sharing. And also, John send a super chat. Sorry to hear about the unfortunate family matter. Best wishes. Thank you very much for your kind words, John. Thank you. It's getting better now. It's getting better now, but this week was pretty crazy. I will not go into details, but maybe once everything will be okay, then maybe I will share some. But yeah, week was crazy for sure, and yeah, you know, it's life, isn't it? It's life, and yeah. So thank you very much, John, for your super chat, for your support, and kind words and best wishes. Thank you, and for being here and being supportive. Thank you, John. And dear friends, if I may, I will end live stream now. I know most likely I'm gonna miss significant, many comments and questions, but well, we had a good run, by the way, almost 3.5 hours live stream. Not bad, isn't it? Not bad. Thank you all, dear friends, and my apologies if I miss your question. Next Sunday, let's do record, by the way. Let's have a longer conversation. I'm gonna be ready. Thank you very much for your attention, for your support. Have a wonderful day, dear friends, and take care. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.